Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into an industry that, let's face it, has been pretty resistant to big changes for a long time.
That's right, real estate.
Exactly. But things are definitely shifting now. There's this, well, seismic transformation happening.
Oh, absolutely. And you see these headlines everywhere, don't you? Really quite dire predictions flying around.
Like what?
Well, the big one is that with all this tech, prop tech, iBuyers, these online platforms, that most traditional real estate agents, they'll basically be gone in a decade.
Wow. Gone in a decade. That's stark.
It is, and that's definitely the fear you feel buzzing around the industry right now.
Okay, so that headline grabs your attention, for sure. But, digging into this, the story seems, well, a lot more nuanced, maybe even more interesting.
I think so. It's really not about a profession just dying off.
It's more like evolving, adapting.
Precisely. The agent's role isn't vanishing, but it is changing, fundamentally. It has to.
From what to what, exactly?
From being sort of the gatekeeper of information, so holding the keys to the listings.
Which tech can do instantly now, right?
Exactly. That part's automated. The shift is towards becoming this highly skilled advisor, a negotiator, even a project manager.
Okay. So much more strategic.
Much more. So for you listening, what we want to do in this deep dive is kind of map that out.
Like a roadmap for the future agent.
Yeah. We want to isolate those specific skills, the high-value stuff, and also the business systems.
Yeah.
The things that the successful agent of, say, 2030 is going to need.
The stuff a computer just can't do.
That's it. The human interaction, the strategic thinking, that's where the value is going to be.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Why now? Why is all this tech, this prop tech wave, hitting so hard right now?
Good question. Because, as you said, real estate managed to insulate itself for decades, really.
Right.
Longer than most other big industries.
How did it manage that?
A few things. Hyper-local regulations, rules varying city by city. The sheer cost and complexity of buying and selling property. It's a big physical asset. It's not like buying a book online.
Right. Lots of friction built in.
Loads. But that insulation, that delay, it's actually why the change feels so fast and aggressive now.
Ah, because it was held back for so long.
Exactly. The industry lagged behind. So the tech that's hitting it now isn't gradual. It's this massive wave trying to catch up all at once. It feels exponential.
So ignoring it isn't really an option anymore.
Not if you want to stay relevant. Ignoring prop tech today is basically planning for obsolescence tomorrow.
Okay, so where is this tech focused? What's it trying to fix?
It's laser focused on that friction we mentioned. Transaction friction.
Break that down for us. What does that look like in a typical deal?
Just think about how many people get involved. It's kind of staggering.
Okay.
You've got the buyer, the seller, their agents, usually two. Then solicitors or conveyancers, probably two of those as well.
Right.
Add the mortgage broker, the bank or lender, the insurance company, the surveyor.
Wow, okay. That's a crowd.
It is. And all those handoffs, all those different parties, it just creates drag.
Bureaucracy.
Yep. Bureaucracy, higher costs, massive delays sometimes. Deals can drag on for months. And really importantly, it creates information asymmetry.
Asymmetry, meaning one person knows more than another.
Exactly. The seller knows the leaky tap, the agent knows the market trend, the buyer's flying blind on some things. That imbalance makes the whole process inefficient, slow, and often more expensive than it needs to be.
So PropTech swoops in to fix that.
That's the goal. The tools aim to smooth things out, make services more efficient, simple, effective, and productive. There's actually a framework for this, the ESP framework.
Great set.
Yeah, efficient, simple, effective, productive. Think about something like a digital closing platform.
Okay.
Suddenly, documents are online 24/7. That's efficient. It's one place to log in, not 50 emails. That's simple. Legal checkboxes might be built in, ensuring compliance. That's effective. And the agent clicks a few buttons instead of chasing paper for hours. That's way more productive.
Makes sense. So what are the first things to go? The low-hanging fruit for automation.
Search and basic transaction functions,
Right.
definitely.
Meaning?
Meaning if an agent thinks their main value is unlocking a door or emailing listings, well, that agent is already in trouble.
That gatekeeper role is dead.
Pretty much. We've had online listings for ages, but now the tech is digging into managing the actual deal, synthesizing the data, coordinating the steps.
And it's not just the simple stuff. You mentioned valuation earlier. That seems like a higher level skill.
It is, but even that's being challenged. We hear a lot about AVMs, right? Automated valuation models.
Yeah, the Zestimate type things, algorithms guessing prices.
Kind of. They use comps, stats, try to figure out a number. It's basically optimizing the math,
Huh.
but there's something potentially bigger. AVP,
AVP. Okay, another acronym.
Automated Valuation Process. See the difference?
Model versus process. So AVP isn't just the calculation.
Right. It's about automating the entire workflow of valuation,
Mm.
pulling public records automatically, finding comps without a human, maybe using standardized digital forms for inspections, running the model, generating the report, delivering it.
Whoa, so it's not just challenging the appraiser's math.
It's challenging the human who manages that whole process.
Yeah.
The coordination, the data gathering, the admin. AVP aims to make the whole assembly line faster and cheaper.
That's a significant threat to the administrative side of managing assets.
Huge, and it's not some far-off future thing. We're seeing predictions, even for complex stuff like commercial buildings,
Yeah.
that they could be largely self-managing in 5 years.
Self-managing buildings, wow.
Think about it. Managing their own heating, cooling, security, maintenance schedules. If the building does that itself, what's the property manager doing?
Good question. Their role has to change too.
Completely. It pushes the human role up the chain,
Mhm.
away from day-to-day operations towards strategic financial oversight, acquisition strategy, maximizing the asset's value, not just keeping the lights on.
Okay, so if automation is handling data, processing, even managing buildings, the agent survival kit has to be filled with different tools.
Absolutely. High-touch, high-value skills, the big shift we talked about, from
Yeah.
data provider to knowledge creator,
From giving numbers to explaining what the numbers mean.
and what to do about them. Look, tech gives you instant data on anything. Price history, neighborhood stats, whatever. That's table stakes now. The agent's real currency becomes specialized, actionable knowledge.
Oh, so?
Well, the source material puts it nicely. Real estate investing, or even just buying a home, it's a complex, multidimensional maze. It's not simple. You don't just follow a script from some seminar and succeed.
Okay, give me an example. Two identical houses, same list price. How does the knowledge creator agent add value beyond just showing the houses?
Great question. They add value by structuring the client's return. Let's say both houses are $500K. Client A has a standard 20% down, regular mortgage, no plans to renovate. Pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Client B, though, maybe the agent sees an opportunity. Perhaps they can negotiate some seller financing to reduce the upfront cash needed. Maybe they identify a specific $20,000 renovation new kitchen, whatever that market data suggests, could boost the resale value by $60,000 in 3 years.
So it's about the whole financial picture.
Exactly. The agent who helps client B structure that whole deal, the price, the unique financing, the value-add improvements, the exit strategy, that agent is the knowledge creator. They're acting more like a financial guide, not just someone opening doors.
And to be that guide, they need to understand more than just spreadsheets, right? They need to get the client's motivation.
Oh, absolutely. This gets into emotional intelligence. Buying or selling a home is rarely just a numbers decision. It's deeply emotional.
How does that play out?
Well, think about why someone is really moving. The external problem might be, my house is too small. Okay, simple enough.
But there's an internal one too.
Almost always. The internal problem might be a feeling of embarrassment that the house is cramped when friends visit, or maybe a sense of struggling, like they feel they're failing their family by not providing a better space.
Wow. Okay. Deeper stuff.
Much deeper. The agent who can identify and speak to that internal frustration, who can show how moving solves that feeling, not just the square footage issue. That agent builds a powerful bond.
They're selling peace of mind, or maybe pride, not just bricks and mortar.
Precisely. The focus shifts to the client's world, their feelings. Because value, as one source says, always exists in the eyes of the beholder. If the client feels truly understood, the transaction feels right.
That focus on the human connection leads right into negotiation, doesn't it? Which tech definitely can't replicate.
Not effectively, no. Negotiation is quintessentially human, high touch, high stakes, and future agents need to be masters of it.
What are some key tactics for the agent of 2030?
Okay, first off, strategic anchoring. Basic psychology, but crucial.
Anchoring. Like dropping an anchor.
Sort of. It's about setting the initial expectation. When you make an offer or counter an offer, you need to be strategic about that first number you put out there.
House.
You should generally ask for more than you expect to get, or offer less than you expect to pay. That first number, your anchor, pulls the other party's perception in that direction. If you're representing a buyer and the house is listed at $500K, maybe your well-justified first offer is $460K, even if you think it'll settle at $480K. You're setting the negotiating range low. Don't be shy about it. It's a tactical starting point.
Okay, makes sense. What about tougher situations? What if you're not dealing with an emotional homeowner, but like a bank in a foreclosure? Professionals on the other side.
Right. Those high stakes, often impersonal deals. Sometimes you have to use the leverage you have, even if it feels aggressive.
How do you mean?
It's about understanding the other side's pressures. The sources talk about adopting a just business mindset in these cases. It's not personal.
Give me an example.
Okay, a bank selling a foreclosed property. They don't want that asset sitting on their books. Every week it sits there, costs them money, maintenance, taxes, regulatory pressure. They might be facing internal pressure to clear it out before the end of the quarter.
Ah, so they have their own vulnerabilities.
Exactly. A savvy agent recognizes that. They might push for a lower price, knowing the bank might take a small hit now to avoid a bigger headache or loss later. You use that institutional pressure as leverage.
Okay, but wait. If the agent's future is built on trust and relationships, doesn't that kind of hardball tactic, even with a bank, risk damaging their reputation long term?
That's a really important question. And the key is context.
Okay.
When you're dealing with institutional players, banks, funds, big developers, the game is different. It is transactional by nature. It's about risk, capital, numbers. They expect strategic negotiation.
But with your actual client.
With your client, it absolutely has to be built on empathy, trust, and counsel. The skill is knowing which hat to wear and when. You need the empathy for your client and the strategic toughness for the other side when necessary. Both tools are crucial.
Okay, that distinction makes sense. Now let's talk about the subtle stuff in negotiation. You mentioned the 738-55 rule. Tell us about that.
Ah, yes. This is critical for high-touch interaction. It basically says that when we communicate, only 7% of the message's impact comes from the actual words we use.
Only 7%. That's tiny.
Tiny. Then 38% comes from our tone of voice, how we say the words.
Yeah.
And the biggest chunk, a massive 55%, comes from our body language. Facial expressions, posture, gestures.
Wow. So what you do and how you sound matters way more than what you say.
Way more. A future agent needs to be a master reader of these nonverbal cues. If you're negotiating price and the other person says, okay, fine, the 7%, but their jaws clenched, arms across, they're leaning back, the 55%, you know that okay is shaky. The deal isn't solid.
So it's about reading them, but also controlling your own signals.
Absolutely. If you sense tension building, you consciously soften your tone, that 38%. You deliberately adopt open, relaxed body language, the 55%. You can change the entire emotional temperature of the room without changing a single word of your proposal, just by managing the nonverbals. Tech can't do that.
Fascinating. Okay, one more negotiation tactic, and this one sounds weird. Trying to get a no. Why would you want someone to say no?
It does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it? But think about it. Saying yes often feels like pressure, like commitment. Saying no, paradoxically, makes people feel safe and in control.
How do you use that?
Instead of pushing for a yes, you make it okay to say no. You might ask questions designed to elicit a no. For instance, instead of, are you ready to make an offer? Maybe you ask, is there any reason you wouldn't want to move forward with this property? Or have you decided against making an offer today?
So you're inviting them to voice their objections.
Exactly. Once they articulate the no, or the reason for the potential no, a few things happen. One, they feel heard and respected.
Oh.
Two, the tension drops because they've asserted control. And three, now you know the real obstacle. You can address it directly. Getting that no out often clears the path to finding a way to a yes.
Okay, so you've navigated the negotiation, maybe gotten past the no to a yes, but the agent's job isn't over. Now it's about guiding the client through the whole process.
Right. And a key philosophy here, from sources like Ninja Selling, is about controlling the process, not the decision.
What does that mean in practice?
So the client says the classic line, I need to go home and think about it. The typical salesperson might push back, try to close the deal now.
Which usually makes people dig their heels in.
Exactly. The ninja approach is different. The agent says, absolutely, I understand completely. You control the decision while you're thinking. Let me control the process for you. How about we schedule a quick, private final look tomorrow morning at 9, just so you have all the info fresh in your mind.
Ooh, I like that. The client feels respected. They still hold the power to decide, but the agent keeps the momentum going. You've locked in the next step.
Precisely. It maintains the agent's role as the calm, organized advisor, not a pushy salesperson.
Right.
But sometimes people do get stuck. They get comfortable on what one source calls the sofa of indecision. They need a gentle nudge.
Right. You can't let them stall forever. So how do you give that nudge without being pushy? This is the push you mentioned.
Yeah, the push. It should be gentle but firm. Often, it involves offering a small, tangible incentive that makes acting now slightly better than waiting.
Like what?
Maybe a tiny concession on the commission. Maybe offering to pay for a professional cleaning service if they sign this week. Maybe highlighting that a specific favorable loan rate expires tomorrow. Something small that tips the scales.
Based on the idea there.
That an agent would much rather make $10 than no dollars. A small incentive that secures the deal today is better than holding out for the perfect commission and watching the client walk away due to inertia.
Okay, so the deal is signed. Champagne corks pop.
Not so fast. Especially for buyers, signing the contract is often just the start of an emotional roller coaster. The agent needs to be ready for this.
What kind of roller coaster?
Two main stages, typically. First is the fear stage.
Fear. After they got the house they wanted.
Oh, yeah. It hits usually right after the ink is dry. They go home, the adrenaline fades, and they start thinking about the mortgage payment, the commitment. Did I pay too much? Can I really afford this? What if I lose my job?
Buyer's remorse, basically, but intense.
Very intense. And it often manifests as, well, difficult client behavior. The sources mention angry, incessant phone calls and texts, panic attacks at midnight, emotional outbursts directed straight at the agent.
Yikes. How does the agent handle that? You can't just say calm down.
No, that's the worst thing you can do. You have to become the calm anchor in their storm. Acknowledge the fear. Yes, this is a huge decision. It's totally normal to feel nervous. Validate their feelings. Then pivot immediately back to the process.
Wow.
But remember, we have a plan. The inspection is booked for Tuesday. The appraisal is ordered. Your loan pre-approval is solid. We are following the steps exactly as we laid out. You reinforce the structure, the plan, the things you can control to counteract the emotional swirl. You shift from salesperson to project manager and counselor.
Okay, so manage the fear stage with structure. What's the second stage?
The disappointment stage.
Disappointment still.
Yeah, this one's a bit more subtle.
Yeah.
It often hits after the deal is fully locked in, maybe after contingencies are removed, the initial excitement is worn off, and they're just left with the reality of the huge amount of money they've just spent or committed. It's a kind of post-purchase slump.
What does the agent do then?
Anticipate it. And then gently shift their focus forward, away from the money spent, towards the positive future. Okay, let's start thinking about paint colors, or have you thought about where you'll put the sofa, or let's plan your housewarming party. You guide them past the dip by getting them excited about the next step, the outcome, the dream they were chasing.
Managing all these emotions, maintaining these relationships long term, that takes more than just good intentions, right? It needs systems.
Absolutely. You can't scale high-touch relationships without robust systems. Relying on memory alone just doesn't work.
So what kind of systems are we talking about?
Things like the ninja selling 5-step calling process. It provides a structure for check-in calls. And a key part of that is finding common ground.
Common ground.
Yeah, using the F4D acronym helps here. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams.
F or R. Okay, how does that work?
Before you call a past client, you check your notes. What did you last talk about? Their daughter was applying to college, family dreams. Or they were planning a ski trip, recreation. So you open the call with that. Hey, just checking in. How did Sarah's college applications go? Or how was the snow in Aspen?
So it's not just, hey, want to buy or sell?
Definitely not. It's about genuine connection. By systematically tracking and referencing these personal details using your CRM properly, you show you actually listened. You build real trust. It makes every interaction feel personal, not just a sales call.
And for keeping in touch over the long haul, maybe years between transactions?
That's where tech does help build relationships. Through automated nurturing. Regular email campaigns, for instance.
And newsletters and stuff, don't people just delete those?
Many do, yes. But the sources argue it still works. The key is providing actual value market insights, home maintenance tips, local event info, not just sales pitches. Even if they delete 9 out of 10 emails, your name, your brand stays visible.
So it's about top-of-mind awareness.
Exactly. Consistency reinforces your brand. So when 5 years later they do think about moving, your name is the one that pops into their head because you've been consistently, quietly providing value in their inbox.
Okay, but all this communication, especially email, can totally overwhelm an agent's day. Any tips for managing that?
Yes. There's a great productivity hack for email, actually. It comes from time management principles.
I'm listening.
It's about using scheduling tools to delay when your emails are sent.
Delay them. Why?
Okay, say you draft a reply to a client or a team member at 5 p.m. Instead of hitting send right away, you schedule it to go out the next morning at, say, 8 a.m.
What does that achieve?
2 really important things. First, it lets you batch your email work. You can process your inbox in focused blocks of time, maybe morning and late afternoon, instead of being constantly interrupted. Protects your prime selling or negotiating time.
Okay, batching makes sense. What's the second thing?
It subtly trains people not to expect instant replies. If your emails always arrive the next morning, clients and staff learn that email isn't instant messaging. It stops that rapid-fire back and forth that turns your inbox into a chat room and kills productivity. It restores email to being, well, mail, asynchronous communication.
Okay, so the future agent needs to be this master negotiator, financial strategist, counselor, marketing guru. Can one person realistically do all that effectively, especially at scale?
It's becoming incredibly difficult. The solo agent model, it's really being strained by the complexity and the demand.
And the data backs that up.
Overwhelmingly. The numbers suggest agents who join a team have a significantly better chance of exceeding one source quote, an 8 times better chance than agents trying to go it completely alone.
8 times. That's huge. What's the magic ingredient in teams? What leverage do they provide?
It's several things. Leads, obviously, are a big one. Teams often have systems for generating leads consistently, but just as important is the administrative and operational support.
Taking the mundane stuff off the agent's plate.
Exactly. Think about all the non-selling tasks. Entering listings into the MLS, scheduling photos, coordinating inspections, drafting standard contract clauses, managing the CRM database, chasing paperwork for compliance.
All necessary, but time-consuming.
Hugely time-consuming. A good team structure has people dedicated to those tasks, transaction coordinators, marketing assistants, listing managers. This frees up the sales agents to do what they do best. Interact with clients, negotiate deals, build relationships. Focus on that high-value 7% we talked about.
So the team structure itself becomes a system for leverage.
Precisely. And this changes the role of the team leader, too.
How so? They're not just the top salesperson anymore.
Ideally, no. The best team leaders are system architects. Their main job isn't selling, it's building and refining the systems that allow the team to thrive.
Like what kind of systems?
Robust onboarding for new agents, ongoing training programs, consistent sales meetings focused on skills and accountability. Lead distribution systems, marketing platforms. Their focus is making sure the systems do the heavy lifting.
And keeping everyone focused.
Yes, prioritizing ruthlessly. As one successful agent put it, you have to focus on the important things first. That means activities that generate business and build connections, not getting bogged down in minor administrative details.
Like worrying about the perfect office layout.
Exactly. Don't spend 3 hours deciding where the coffee machine goes when you should be making calls or meeting potential clients. Focus on the revenue-generating, relationship-building activities. The systems handle the rest.
Okay, you mentioned accountability in teams. That sounds crucial, especially in a commission-based, high-pressure job. How do top teams structure that effectively?
Accountability is described as potentially the most powerful tool for achieving big goals. Without it, people drift. Failure becomes a surprise because nobody was tracking the leading indicators.
Leading indicators? What do you mean?
You need to shift focus from tracking only results like closed deals or commission earned, which are lagging indicators.
Things that have already happened.
Right. You need to track the activities that lead to those results. These are called activity-based indicators, or ABIs.
Give me some examples of ABIs for an agent.
Sure. Things like number of outbound calls made per day, number of new contacts added to the database per week, number of buyer consultation appointments scheduled per month, number of listing presentations delivered. These are the actions within the agent's control that, if done consistently, should produce the desired results.
So if an agent misses their sales goal,
instead of just saying, oh, well, bad month, you look at their ABIs. Did they hit their call target? Did they schedule enough appointments? You can pinpoint why the result didn't happen based on whether the necessary actions happened. It removes the guesswork and the excuses.
The excuses. Accountability needs to tackle those head on.
Absolutely. The sources emphasize that effective accountability must be consistent, and it has to eliminate what's called victim language.
Victim language? Like what?
I didn't hit my numbers because the market slowed down, or I lost the listing because the seller was unreasonable, or the deal fell apart because the lender dropped the ball. See the pattern. It's always blaming external factors.
Okay, so what's the alternative? Accountable language.
Accountable language sounds like, I missed my goal because I failed to make my target of 20 new contacts per week. Or, I lost the listing because I didn't effectively demonstrate my value proposition during the presentation. Or, the deal fell apart because I didn't follow up closely enough with the lender to anticipate problems. It focuses on what the agent did or didn't do. Ownership.
And good team leaders enforce that shift in language.
Relentlessly. No excuses, just analysis of the ABIs and commitment to executing the plan next time.
That kind of intense focus and execution,
Yeah.
it seems hard to maintain over a whole year. People naturally slack off.
Totally true. Which is why there's a strong push towards ditching traditional annual planning.
Ditching annual goals. What's the alternative?
Shorter, more intense cycles. The concept often mentioned is the 12-week year.
A 12-week year, like treating every quarter as a full year.
Exactly. Annualized thinking creates a false sense of time. You set a goal in January and think, oh, I've got plenty of time. I'll really hit it hard in Q3.
We've all done that.
Right. But real execution, real success is built daily and weekly, not monthly or quarterly. A 12-week cycle forces urgency. You plan in 12-week blocks, you execute in weekly sprints, and you measure constantly. There's no time to procrastinate.
Is there a benchmark for success within that 12-week cycle?
Yes. The idea is that if you consistently execute at least 85% of your planned weekly actions, your ABIs, for that week, you have a very high probability of hitting your overall 12-week goals.
85% execution rate. That's demanding but clear.
It is. It forces focus on consistent, high-leverage activity now, not sometime down the road. It's about building momentum week by week.
Wow. Okay, this has been a really insightful look at where the real estate profession is heading. It's definitely not dying, but it's certainly transforming.
Absolutely. We've traced that evolution, haven't we? From just being the keeper of the listings.
Right, the gatekeeper.
To becoming this sophisticated professional. Yeah. Someone who uses technology smartly to automate the routine stuff.
Freeing them up for the high-value work.
Exactly. Mastering emotional intelligence to guide clients through what's often a stressful, complex process, and leveraging teams and systems to operate efficiently and consistently.
So the agent of the future is part analyst, part therapist, part strategist, part project manager.
That's a pretty good summary. They partner with technology to handle the objective, repeatable 93% of the work, so they can excel at the subjective, human-centric 7%, the complex negotiations, the deep advising, the relationship building.
So as we wrap up, what's the final takeaway? The ultimate insurance policy for an agent wanting to thrive in 2030 and beyond.
It comes down to where you invest your resources. And the most crucial investment isn't in the latest gadget or even another property.
What is it then?
It's captured perfectly in a quote that really resonates. The only real asset you have is your mind.
Your mind.
Yes. The advice is stark. Invest first in education. Before buying tools, before buying more investments, invest in your financial training, your strategic understanding, your negotiation skills. If you don't understand finance, market dynamics, and investment strategy better than your clients, how can you offer that high-value advice we've been talking about?
So continuous learning is the key.
It's the ultimate future-proofing. Constantly upgrading your knowledge, your skills, your understanding. That's what makes an agent truly indispensable, no matter how much technology evolves. That commitment to learning is the real foundation for success.